Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another quick pick prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the middleweight bout for the undisputed middleweight title of the UFC between Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya 2. So we got Stylebender versus Poton. I'm going Alex Pereira. I'm gonna go. This camera kind of lagging, but hey, we rolling with it. I'm gonna go with average confidence Alex Pereira. Adesanya has all the tools to win, but I can't pick him because he's down 0-3. Really 0-3. Realistically 0-3. And in what position is that to really go for him? 0-4. That takes a lot of confidence, or maybe just being a fan. Or maybe just forgetting about the other two fights and just saying, oh, he's only down one. He was winning most of the fight. And then he lost that last round, or he lost maybe one round in the whole fight prior to getting caught. So maybe he was up like 3-1 going into the fifth round and was looking like he's about to win the fifth round as well. Or at the very least, he was going to win 3-2. But still, when you really factor in all the fights, he's 0-3 for real. And like, it's still a dog in this one. I feel like I can't lean any way but Alex Pereira here. Yeah, I can't really lean any. It would just be flat out wrong for me to lean to Adesanya here, especially as a favorite. If he was like some plus 400 dogs, I'm like, money? Well, money-wise, I still would, as far as predicting wise, money aside, I still would have to lean Alex Pereira, but money-wise, like, let's throw some money on Adesanya. Yeah. In the case, maybe in that sense, I would like, let's throw some money on Adesanya. But as far as now, it's like money on Pereira or money on finish or something like that, or money on some Pereira by decision, something crazy like that. Or not that crazy. I'm actually going to say Pereira going to win by decision is crazy. That seems, I'm just going to go off the base that the first time he fought him in kickboxing, it was a decision victory for Pereira. And the second time he fought, it was a knockout. This time in MMA, the first time they fight, it's a late knockout. This time it's going to be a probably controversial, close decision, but that's going to go Pereira's way. But yeah, and also as far as looking at this fight, I feel like I like more what I've seen from Pereira in this training than I have been seeing from Adesanya. But then again, Adesanya could be having a lot of stuff behind the scenes. But I don't think swimming going to help him. I don't think the stuff he's doing has really shown me like this is going to be something big for him to change or adjust. That's a big adjustment I'm saying. But what they show us is not all that important. What they show themselves, that's the most important thing. But all I can go is based on what I've seen. And what I've seen, I'm liking more of what I'm liking for Pereira. Pereira, we look at all the fights, when Adesanya has had his best success or had hurt Pereira, it has been with the hands. It ain't been with the kicks. And what has Pereira been doing? He's been bringing in boxing guys to, Olympic standouts and such to, work on his boxing. And where has the damage been coming from Adesanya, where he has been having most success? It ain't been from jumping around and kicking legs. It's been with the hands. Like sticking the jab, then firing the two. Like that's been like, even this one, he like stuck it out in front of him, fired it, and that's where he rocked him in the first fight in MMA. In kickbox, I think in the first fight, he fought him, he touched him a couple times with that pepper and the jab, then land. Second fight, he rocked him, that initially hurt him with that in the second fight, and then really started hurting with kicks and other things. But again, everything came behind the hands. And Adesanya got to remember that. Like he might have been having success in MMA, doing a lot of kicking with these guys that aren't world-class strikers. And this spamming calf kicks, but this one, he got to get back working the shoulder roll. He got to get back to the boxing. He got to clean his boxing. But it seems like Pereira already kind of got him beat there if he even does go back to that, because Pereira is bringing in boxers to work on and sharpen up his boxing. And that's really where the biggest threat that Adesanya has brought to Pereira has been with the hands. And if Pereira's already like beating you to that, like cleaning up that area of his game, I'm really kind of struggling to see the area where Adesanya's going to beat him. I don't think Adesanya's going to beat him being the spamming calf kicks like he did against Costa and Whitaker and Cannonier and everyone else. That's not really going to work against Pereira. Pereira, like, I'm not these guys. You fighting these guys that's not even, wouldn't even make it anywhere in kickboxing, like versus a guy who's been a double champ. Like, I'm not those guys, and I'm taller than you, bigger than you as well. So it's not the same thing. I mean, he could have success there, but that's not really his path to victory, is all I'm saying. Maybe try to work some clinch more, but again, I think really his best success does really come down to boxing, and I'm not really seeing him sharpen that up or give it the focus that it needs. Especially given the fact that, again, the biggest success you have had in all your fights against Pereira has been in the hands, and I feel like his hands have been declining ever since he really started finding success in MMA. Like even when you look at his earlier MMA fights in the UFC, like his hand looks sharper. But I feel like at the Costa fight, his hand started to decline because he started to have so much success, this really spamming leg kicks and calf kicks. And I feel like he could have success in the grappling department, but I don't feel like he'll make that big of an adjustment. But again, I feel like it's gonna be a very competitive fight. But I think once again, Pereira's gonna do more with less. And also like Pereira, just this big dummy that just got big power. All he needs to land one shot. He's clearly been a cerebral out there as well, saying Adesanya make the same mistakes or the same tendency, was able to slip that hook in because he kept reaching out, square himself up to jump in the clinch. He was able to, or Winston and turn to the side, and he was able to time that, slip his hook around slightly around the guard, touch Adesanya and hurt him. Hurt Adesanya into a defensive mistake or defensive predictability. And again, if Adesanya don't really sharp his hands up, it's not gonna be the thing. Or if he come in more defensive, I just feel like any adjustment that's really not is putting up much of a focus to his boxing to be sharper in that area, maybe be a little bit more aggressive, maybe tighten his defense up, maybe have more of a boxing defense, maybe square himself up a little bit more in that case. Because you still could block the hooks, you could dip. Like I say, that'd probably be a better stance against us. Against Pereira. And I'm not saying just do that stance the whole fight, but portion that fight, kind of tighter guard, slipping the hooks, working behind the jab, more of a boxing stance, or maybe more of like a square, aggressive boxing stance, a more offensive boxing stance, like kind of less away from defense, but still in defense enough to block the main thing. Like you might leave yourself open to box to maybe shots to the body a little bit more. But the whole thing in that point of that is to be first. Be able to block the hooks, counter the hooks, work behind the jab a little bit more, and close the gap and take away his hook. That'd be like a good adjustment. But I don't think he's gonna make that adjustment or make the adjustments or even go back to the style where he was like using more of a shoulder roll defense against Pereira in the first and second fight. Really, largely the first fight. But I don't think he's gonna make those adjustments. And ultimately, I think it's gonna be a case of it's gonna go decision, which is kind of a crazy thing to say. But I think ultimately Pereira's gonna be the one aggressing more. I think at points in this fight, Adesanya's gonna fight timid and just be clinching to get him off of him, whereas Pereira's gonna be landing damage. I think Adesanya will have his moments, but I think ultimately, Pereira will land more consistent damage, and he'll be one being more consistently being the aggressor. And I think he will be the one to hurt Adesanya more throughout this fight. But again, a very close fight. Striking total is very close, but Pereira being aggressive more and landing the heavier shots more consistently. And again, a very, very close fight. Probably like a split decision type fight. And Pereira getting his hand raised and going 4-0 against Adesanya. So in this one, I have Alex Pereira via decision.